Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Monday, June 15, 2026 West Fargo City Commission meeting. We call the meeting to order. Please join the commission in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Jorgensen.
Present.
Commissioner Zundel. Here. Commissioner Dardis.
Here.
Commissioner Olson.
Here.
Commissioner Anderson.
Here.
Let the record show all 5 commissioners are present. Next order of business is to approve the order of the agenda. It has been distributed in front of you, commissioners.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Jorgensen. I have a second by Commissioner Anderson. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is the approval of the minutes of June 1st, 2026.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Olson moves to approve. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Zundel seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item F, Commissioner Jorgensen.
I would like to recuse myself from voting on this matter.
Commissioner Jorgensen is recused from voting on the building permits as he has business interests involved.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Anderson moves to approve the building permits as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Olson seconds. We have a motion and a second to approve the building permits for Monday, June 15th as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Commissioners, the next order of business is the consent agenda. We have items A through J.
Move we approve.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through J as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Jorgensen seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We move on to the regular agenda. The first order of business on the regular agenda is public comment. Madam Secretary?
We do not have anyone.
We do not have anyone signed up for public comment. Item number 2 is public hearings. None of our topics this evening requires us to have a public hearing, so we move on to item number 3. Item number 3 is A26-4, Grant Second Edition, a request for final plot approval. Aaron Nelson, Director of Planning and Zoning, will be presenting. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, President Dardis and Commissioners. So this item is a request for approval of a 22-lot subdivision, which is a replat of Grant First Edition and Lot 57, Block 1 of the Wilds 11th Edition. This request comes to you with recommendation of approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission. And I don't have a mouse here, Emily, so you might need to scroll for me here.
It should work just like a laptop.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. All right, I figured it out. All right, the subject property is located at 1131 Rachel Drive West, which is South 52nd Avenue along the east side of the Cheyenne Diversion. The proposed subdivision is intended to accommodate future residential development. The property is currently within the R2 Limited Multiple Dwelling Zoning District, and a small portion of city-owned property is actually in the P Public Facilities District. The proposed subdivision would replat the subject property into a total of 22 lots on one block and would dedicate public right-of-way for an extension of Rachel Drive West. So this is an image here of the plat, with the aerial photo in the background, and then the actual plat document here. The applicant has petitioned for public infrastructure. A subdivision improvement agreement does accompany this plat and is included in the packet. Additionally, this property is located within Cass Rural Water District, and so a water service cooperation agreement is also accompanies this plat and would be needing city approval as well. Overall, staff finds the proposed subdivision to be consistent with city plans and ordinances. A public hearing was held at the May 12th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, at which time the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have for staff.
Commissioner Olson?
Thank you. Can you explain what that hash marked area is that runs across?
Yeah, that dark hashed area there, that's an existing easement that is being vacated with this plat. I believe it was one of the original access easements for the farmstead. This was original farmstead property for the Wilds, or before the Wilds neighborhood was originally developed. And so that easement predates even city annexation of this area.
So it's going to be vacated, you said?
Going away with this plat,
Okay.
yep.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Questions for Mr. Nelson?
Move we approve.
I have a motion to approve A26-4 Grant Second Edition. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Jorgensen seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 4 is 826-6, a zoning ordinance amendment to Title 4 regarding inert landfills. This is the second reading. Again, we call on Aaron Nelson, our Director of Planning and Zoning.
Thank you.
Mr. Nelson.
So item 4 is an ordinance amendment regarding the regulation of inert landfills within city limits. This item was presented at the June 1st City Commission meeting, at which a public hearing was held and the first reading of the ordinance was approved. In summary, the ordinance establishes a definition for inert landfills and modifies the P Public Facilities Zoning District to include inert landfills in the list of conditional uses. There have been no changes to the proposed ordinance since the last meeting, and so the requested action tonight is to approve the second reading of the ordinance. Happy to answer any questions for staff.
Questions for Mr. Nelson?
Move we approve second reading.
Commissioner Olson moves to approve. Is there the second reading? Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Anderson seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 5, 826-9, Growth Area Plan Review and Discussion of Draft Plan Document. Again, we call on Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson.
Okay, thanks again. So item 5 is a discussion item for the final draft of the growth area plan. No action is being requested. The purpose of this agenda item is to provide commissioners with an opportunity to provide any final comments or feedback or just general discussion regarding the growth area plan, recognizing that this is the final commission meeting for 3 out of the 5 commissioners who were instrumental in not only initiating this project, but also providing guidance, input, and direction along the way. So on that note, just a quick thank you to commissioners for helping out with this project throughout. I know it's resulted in a handful of after-hours meetings and stuff, and we certainly appreciate the time and effort commissioners put into this. Another item I'd like to note at the onset here is just a quick reminder of the original purpose of this project. So this project was originally initiated to proactively prepare for anticipated population growth and development upon the completion of the FM diversion project and the associated removal of vast swaths of the city's future growth area from the floodplain. So recognizing that those two things were right around the corner was the main reason, main driver for initiating this project about 18 months ago. So over the past 18 months, city staff has been working with the project consultant on a number of things, many of which you guys were involved in, obviously, with a lot of the public input and stakeholder engagement throughout the process, ultimately resulting in the draft growth area plan document that's included in your meeting packet here tonight. So the document itself is divided into 10 chapters. The first couple of chapters provide some contextual information and background information about the study area. Again, the study area is primarily the area outside of current city limits within the alignment. The dry side of the FM diversion channel was kind of that main focus area. The middle chapters dive into specific topics such as land use, transportation, and parks and recreation. As a reminder, the Parks District was contributed finances to the funding of this project, and so there was a substantial chapter dedicated to the Park District specifically. And then the final chapters of the plan document focus on some of the recommendations for strategic growth that prioritize fiscal sustainability. Fiscal responsibility was one of the primary kind of overarching themes throughout this plan document, and so there is actually one chapter dedicated specifically to that conversation as well. The one thing I'll kind of bring Commissioners' attention to is the final implementation chapter, which is the last chapter in the document. This is the chapter that's probably changed the most from the previous draft version of this document that you guys saw last month in May. For the most part, a lot of the content, the first, 3/4 of the plan document is largely the same as what you would have previously seen. The implementation chapter includes a few overarching strategies to keep in mind as the city grows, and then also provides a handful of specific action steps that the city should consider undertaking in the near future. So a lot of these things aren't going to be too big of a surprise to commissioners who have been involved in this. Things like focusing in on the lagoon strategy is a next step, especially for the 12th Avenue Northwest corridor there. As well as updating some of our development regulations in accordance with some of the findings of the plan. As for next steps, a public hearing on the final plan is scheduled for the July 14th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. After that, we will be looking to schedule an additional public hearing in front of the City Commission that will likely take place at the July 20th City Commission meeting. And the last thing I just wanted to note is, just as a reminder, the intention is to adopt this growth area plan as an addendum to the city's current comprehensive plan, the West Fargo 2.0 plan. So the West Fargo 2.0 plan primarily looks inward within the city limits. The growth area master plan primarily looks outward towards the future growth area, is one way to kind of think about these two documents and how they might work together. So again, with that, just wanted to provide a kind of overarching summary of the plan document itself. But with that, I might hand it back to you, President Dardis, and ask for any discussion, comments, questions that you all may have.
Any questions, Commissioners? So this is an informational item this evening. We're not voting on anything. That is correct.
Yep.
Anyone? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next order of business is item number 6, the Oracle NetSuite Government ERP Contract Authorization. We call on Willie Galindo, our Finance Director. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Commissioners. Okay. I
One
stand
moment,
before you.
please.
Yep.
This has been tabled. Do we have to remove it?
Make a motion to remove it from the table to have the discussion, because there weren't any motions beforehand to approve or disapprove, we just moved it right. So, yes, please.
I move to remove this item from being tabled.
This item was tabled at the last commission meeting. We have a motion to bring it back. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a Commissioner Anderson seconds. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of bringing the Oracle NetSuite Government ERP Contract Authorization back this evening, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Please continue, Mr. Galindo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just like on the June 1st meeting, we had a request for a proposal for a new ERP platform, to which we had 13 submissions. Out of those 13, we brought it down to 3 finalists who provided a demonstration to our evaluation committee. And from that evaluation committee, evaluated the demonstration along with the RFP and reference checks that resulted in the selection of Oracle NetSuite as the best value and fit for the city of West Fargo. I come before you to authorize staff and our legal counsel to review the Oracle NetSuite contract package, which is a preliminary package to negotiate and finalize the agreement terms as appropriate and prepare a resolution to the commission at a future point in time. From the package that is provided, there's a term summary that is provided showing the cost breakdown for the Oracle contract draft. As we can see, the 5-year subscription that is locked down at a fixed cost is $360,000 for those first 5 years, with an option to extend for an additional 5 years, which would be an additional $417,000 from year 6 to 10. With the implementation costs costing $429,875, we're looking at a total contract price for 10 years with the implementation of $1,208,079. We feel that this is the best fit for Oracle for the city of West Fargo, given Oracle's track record for providing good service and also providing good technical support based on our reference checks that we were given. And I stand before you to answer any questions that you have.
Questions, Mr. Galindo? Commissioner Zundel?
What is our current finance software cost a year?
Our current finance software cost is Black Mountain's annual cost of $43,000. So if we were to look at that, given a slight price escalator of 3%, assuming the same, 1 to 5 years, and then 6 to 10, we'd probably be looking at spending about $443,000 for the next 10 years.
Okay, so do some math for me. So we are tripling if we did 10 years. So if we did the optional renewal and the implementation at 400, we're looking at 1.2 million. So we're tripling our costs?
Not necessarily, because there's an implementation cost that is a one-time implementation of the new software. If we were to look at subscription to subscription, we'd be looking at possibly an additional $300,000 or so, based on a subscription of about $778,000.
And then are you going to need any additional staff to implement this? Or what does this look like from, I guess, the perspective of, I gotta imagine this is going to take a few years, or what does that look like?
Yes. So these are just the contract costs for Oracle itself. We're looking at possibly putting in a contingency if needed for any additional tech support that is required during go and post go live. In addition to that, we're looking at potentially having some contingencies involved in that. With that said, we are looking at having a staff accountant brought on board to help us with our backfill, as we are most likely going to be using our staff to do the project management and to also do the very important user acceptance testing that usually takes place near the end of the phase.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions?
Just a comment.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Are there any other towns that are using this that you currently had a conversation with to see pluses and minuses with?
Yeah, we did have a couple of reference checks that were out of the state, so to speak. Locally, we kind of contacted Fargo just to see what kind of system they're using. They're currently going into the Tyler technology platform. But aside from that, we relied on the reference checks to see what kind of overall value they saw in the Oracle NetSuite platform directly. So we don't see any local ones yet here in the state of North Dakota, but the ones that we did get reference checks on, they did value it highly, saying that there was overall productivity in the previous programs that they had. One of them did have Black Mountain as well, and they saw almost a double increase in productivity as well.
And they were similar sized towns?
Yeah, they were very sized. One was a county, which was almost triple our size, but overall, yeah, they were pretty much similar in size as far as population goes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Olson?
Our current software is fairly antiquated and not built for a city our size. So this will run circles around that. And it's something that I think we've been looking at doing this almost since we've been on this commission over the last 8 years, but due to one thing after another, it's been delayed. So we need to rock and roll on this right now.
Could you go back to page 1? I want to remind the commission and the public that the action we take tonight is the authorizing the staff and the legal counsel to review the Oracle NetSuite contract package, negotiate and finalize the agreement terms as appropriate, and prepare a resolution. The new commission will be voting on this. Obviously, you two, but the new commissioners will actually have final oversight on this.
Correct.
So that's what we're doing this evening.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Jorgensen. We have a motion and a second to authorize staff and legal counsel to review the contract package, negotiate and finalize agreement terms as appropriate. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next order of business is number 7 on your regular agenda. It's a project number 1359, a sanitary sewer improvement, Mapleton, West Fargo Force Main Connection. We're going to call on Dan Hansen, the Senior Director of Community and Development. The purpose of this discussion this evening is to approve a memorandum of understanding with the City of Mapleton.
Thank you,
Mr.
Commissioner.
Hansen, good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner President Dardis and Commissioners. As brought up in the past with this project, this is a great opportunity for the City of West Fargo to join with Mapleton in a project that they're currently undergoing, where they are also decommissioning some lagoons, and there is an agreement that was put in place in May of 2019 for the City of West Fargo to basically accept their sewage and pass it through and send it on to Fargo as we do. With that, when they got into design, the force main that they're putting from Mapleton to West Fargo runs just about a mile north of the Raymond interchange, and it runs along the railroad tracks basically, comes along the south side of our lagoons, and opportunistically, it connects to our force main to Fargo on the downstream side of SA 40. So all of that sewage that's going to be going through this force main is not going to be going through SA 40, which is the main lift station that pumps all of our sewage to Fargo. So it doesn't have any operational effects on that system. But what this does is it allows anybody that wants to develop within a certain distance of this force main to be able to develop and put in their own lift stations, connect to this force main, and it saves us from having to run our own force main out into this area. And also there is economics of scale and cost participation where Mapleton was already going to be installing a 14-inch force main at the point of connection where we're going to have the project upsize the force main to a 24-inch, which would allow it to take the sewage that we're going to be putting into it. We're going to be doing a cost share instead of having us to pay for all of it. It's already a pipe that's being dug, and so the way that the City of Mapleton would be bidding this out would have our work as an alternate, so whatever the true costs of upsizing the force main are going to be known, and we would be coming back to the commission after they open up their bids to get basically approval for them to award the bid and for us to be able to combine our sewage into that force main. So this is a great opportunity for us to service a lot of the growth area that is very hard to service. As well as there's the Southwest 94 area, which is the area that is basically between the Cheyenne diversion and the new FM diversion. That's about 1,500 acres in that area alone. Plus, there's probably about another 1,000 acres. We're still determining through a feasibility study and engineer's report what the serviceability area of this is exactly. So we would be intending to come back with an engineer's report after the bids have been opened, so that way we can know what the true costs are, and also we'll know where the exact serviceability that we anticipate that this force main is going to service for us. So with that, after getting direction from the commission previously, we've been in negotiations with the city of Mapleton to get this wording added to the revision of the MOU, which needed to take place anyways, just for the fact that when the original MOU was written in 2019, a lot has changed since then as far as what we pay Fargo and things. So the MOU had to be revised anyways. We've just added some language that allows us to connect up to that force main and oversize it from there. It has been reviewed by legal, and it has already, this MOU has been passed at Mapleton's city council meeting recently, and so with the approval of this tonight, they'd be able to open bids, and we'd be able to come back at probably the next commission meeting with those dollars to make a decision whether we want to move forward with it or not. But again, this is a tremendous opportunity for the city of West Fargo to partner with Mapleton on this project and get that work done. The upcoming engineers report would talk a little bit about the financing of it. Preliminary estimates that I mentioned previously were about $2 million for this work. And that could be paid for through a number of different ways as far as funding the costs of the project up front, which could be capital improvement sales tax, potentially economic development sales tax, or it might be something that we want to bond out. And the other thing that we were planning on bringing back, much like when we built SA 27 south of I-94, that base is the lift station that pumps all the sewage from the south side of I-94. With that project, there was a hookup fee that was established for anything that gets platted in that area, because obviously this force main is looking to service a lot of extraterritorial boundaries, so there is no assessment option for us with that. But the model of having that hookup fee worked very well for that project to eventually pay itself back through those hookup fees, and we would be looking to do something similar with this and potentially any other regional infrastructure that's going to service extraterritorial land to be developed into the future. And so with that, I would entertain any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Emily, would you move it up showing the financial analysis for the public? Oh, down a little bit, right in there. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Hanson? Again, this is to approve the memorandum of understanding. We're not spending any dollars this evening.
I move we approve.
Commissioner Zundell moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Olson seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item number 8 is project number 2293. This is the 9th Street Northeast grade separation. We're going to call on Jerry Wallace, our city engineer, the city of West Fargo. And the purpose of this discussion is to approve a change order number 1 for the 9th Street project. Mr. Wallace, please. Good evening and welcome.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Commission President, Commissioners. I'm here before you tonight. Essentially, we have our flagship bridge project going in up on 9th Street. Essentially, what's happened is, we went through the construction process, and the team went through the project development process, negotiated. We knew space was going to be tight in this area. We negotiated a temporary construction easement to facilitate the construction. At that point in time, it was assumed that a temporary construction fence, something along the lines of snow fence on T-posts or things like that, would have been an acceptable avenue for this, what we were looking for in this area. As luck would have it, we got into construction. Our contractor, Industrial Builders, started working with Magellan up there, the owner of the tank farm, so to speak here, where we're talking about. They very quickly found out that Magellan, I believe as a company policy, doesn't allow post-pounded excavations, anything of that nature on their property. As a result of that, the project team is ending up having to go towards a fence system, essentially where we have the Jersey-type barriers that you'd see in like the median on the interstate with chain link on top of that. The reason being is as those discussions happened, Magellan stated that it needs to be capable of not just keeping pedestrians out, but keeping vehicles out as well. And so that's essentially how we got to where we're at. Yeah, I wish in hindsight we would have, discovered this during the project development process. I'd say it's difficult for me to, blame any consultant for not following, I guess, as closely as maybe, everybody would have preferred on what type of fence we would have needed to install there, but we're kind of at that point where it needs to be done, and this is the cost. I've attached the change order in the back of the packet here, and I'm available for any questions you may have, but looking for you to approve change order number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions? Anyone? Mr. Jorgensen?
So on 9th Street there on the west side of Magellan, did we tear down their fence?
That is a separate area of the project. On the west side of 9th?
No, on the west side of Magellan's property.
Yes.
Be the
we
east
will
side of
be-
9th.
We will be having to get in and occupy some of their property as part of the construction process for the bridge.
It'll be interesting to see how they put the fence back because the posts are drove in.
I believe that, I have to assume that, it's because it's on the property line that they have different standards, but that's my understanding.
That's all I got.
Commissioner Olson?
So with what Commissioner Jorgensen said, when the project's over and their security fence is put back up, who's responsible? Are we responsible for putting that up, or are they going to pay for it to put it back up to their standards?
That should have been included as a project cost to replace a like with like fence.
Okay. But you raise a very good point, as
It is a good point, certainly.
I just feel it's just amazing. We're this far into the project, 6 years almost, and we're just now finding out that we can't build a temporary fence as most other places are.
Yeah, basically 1 month into the project.
Right, we're into it, yeah. There's no
mean,
turning
1 month
back.
of digging,
We're
right.
past the Rubicon at this point. So I'll make the motion to approve the change order.
I have a motion to approve the change order with Project 2293 for $151,800. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Zundell seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Unfortunately, aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you.
Next order of business is item number 9, is the 2027 preliminary budget overview. Mr. Dustin Scott, City Administrator. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Commission President Dardis and Commissioners. Well, it's my privilege to share an update on our 2027 budget process. Bear with me here as okay. Get accustomed to the new keyboard we got up here. Fantastic. All right, so starting with the overview of our timeline. As you know, May and June, we conducted review meetings with commissioners, gathered feedback, and that has been incorporated into where we sit today with our 2027 budget. Tonight, of course, we're taking a look at it. The next time we come before you with the budget will be July 20th, and that'll really be the first draft of the preliminary budget that we need to approve by August 3rd. What you're going to see today are some high-level estimated numbers to at least give this commission an idea of where we're at today and where we're projecting to be. But the real first draft of that budget will be the July 20th meeting. And then as required by North Dakota Century Code, we have to hold a hearing of protests and objections on the preliminary budget that is approved at that August meeting. That hearing has to take place somewhere between September 7th and October 7th. So there's always a gap there from when we approve the preliminary budget to when we actually invite the public to come and present their objections or protests. Following that meeting, then, we are proposing to bring the first draft of the final budget at the regular meeting scheduled for September 21st. Heads up, I've talked to our mayor-elect, and I know he is not available that night, and I believe there's at least another commissioner that will be unavailable as well. So that date is potentially going to change, or likely going to change, so stay tuned as we work through the scheduling. And of course, the final budget by requirement has to be approved that first week of October. So, but I'm happy to say that I feel like we are further along this year than we have ever been, at least in my time with the city. So I'm very optimistic that we will be ahead of schedule and ready to return a responsible budget even before October. Also unique this year, we kicked things off by establishing guiding principles. Those were approved at the March 3rd meeting. Principle 1, long-term financial stability. We have to be able to afford our operations and ourselves for the long term, and so we do have additional efforts this year where we are taking a look at 5 and beyond, 5-year projections and beyond. So long-term financial stability. Sustainable services through responsible stewardship, transparent, collaborative, and data-informed decisions, maintain workforce stability and cultural values, reliable infrastructure and strategic growth. So these guiding principles will continue to be the foundation of our budgeting process moving forward. So our baseline conditions, where did we start this year with our budgeting process? And these next two slides are going to focus on the expenditures. Again, these are our baseline conditions. They are certainly subject to change, but this is what we are starting with. First and foremost, I do want to level set that what you're seeing tonight, we really have been focused on our major funds. And our major funds by Century Code are considered to be the general fund, our utility or enterprise funds, library, and airport funds. So we started with a 3% cost of living adjustment. And as you can see below, there are some data points there that help guide that decision. On the left table there is it's COLA data. It's our historical annual COLA that has been given to the city of West Fargo. And next to that is, in that column, Social Security. Those are the annual Social Security COLAs that have been given through the years. So just a point to consider as we established that baseline of 3%. The middle table there is the Midwest Consumer Price Index. That is the annual history going back to 2016. And to the right, again, the Midwest Consumer Price Index, the last 12 months rolling average. And so as you can see, the very far right of that chart, May ended with a CPI of about 5%. Through April, it was about 4.1%. So we are, again, this information is building our confidence in starting with that 3% COLA. Additional baseline conditions for the expense side of our budget. Benefits, we are assuming a 10% increase to our health insurance. I'm happy to report that our HR team is currently working towards soliciting bids in 26 here that will hopefully bring our insurance costs down for the future. Another unique and new item that we are proposing with the budget here is to establish an equipment fund. Now, this is really based on feedback we received last year from commissioners, really geared to help minimize the ebb and flow of one-time purchases in our general fund budget. Things like equipment, Specifically, we are targeting equipment that is of $150,000 or higher value to take those items and put them into an equipment fund that will reduce the impacts of those one-time purchases in an annual budget. So, for example, if the street department needs a $250,000 piece of equipment, instead of having that in our annual general fund budget, putting that into an equipment fund that will have its own revenue source and funding mechanism in place, again, will reduce those ebb and flows. At this time, we are proposing to establish that for the general fund only, but is something that as we continue to work through the policy of establishing an equipment fund, there are plenty of other options, whether it's an equipment fund for all of the departments, an equipment fund for just our different major funds, so on and so forth. But right now, we have started with proposing an equipment fund just for our general fund departments. And then finally, new position requests, new FTEs. The finance department, I don't know if you caught it, but when Willie was up here before you, he did mention that we will be requesting a staff, an additional accountant staff. Their primary focus is going to be with utility billing, but we do feel like they will add some capacity for us to really be able to implement and onboard this new ERP system. In addition, that particular staff would be funded through our utility funds via cost allocations. The fire department is requesting 3 additional firefighter EMT positions. This is really in line with their strategic plan that they had approved a couple years ago, where they are trying to get to 13 full-time firefighters on each of their 3 shifts. They're currently at 12, so they are proposing to get to that number 13. And those positions, as you know, the fire department is included in the general fund, so those would be general fund positions. Okay, moving on to revenues. As we all know, property tax is capped. The chart off to the right here demonstrates all of the various revenue sources into the general fund. It's difficult to see on the screen, but the purple there is what it comprised of property tax revenue. So 47% of our general fund revenue is property taxes. Other revenue sources include things like our fund transfers, our permit and building fees, the interest on investments, and the intergovernmental funding that we get, things like the state aid and the highway tax revenues, which, by the way, are very highly estimated at this point. It's usually somewhere in the middle of summer, end of July-ish, where we will have more concrete data to incorporate into our budget. Utility rate adjustments, those were approved back in June, so that has been reflected now in our budget. We have a 3% admin fee from our utility funds to the general fund. That is as allowable by Century Code. And then our permit and license revenue, those fees were adjusted last year. So again, we're maintaining those same fees that were increased in '25. And then the sales tax, we are using historical trends to do our best guess at forecasting what sales tax revenues will be in '27. And then finally, our transfers into the general fund are really similar to prior years. So actually, before I get into the numbers, are there any questions on these baseline conditions, either for expenditures or the revenues?
Please continue.
Okay, thank you. Well, so here's where we're landing. Again, these are our major funds. Estimated, as of today, we are proposing a balanced budget in the general fund, and that is without using any additional reserves. We are projecting to be a balanced general fund budget. Again, that's based on those revenue projections, which are subject to change as the weeks and coming months bring forward new information. So I'm very proud of our departments. They have really honed in on their absolute minimum needs. In fact, a lot of the operational costs have reduced from 26 budget to the next year's 27 budget. So kudos to all of our departments and their hard work in really bringing forward responsible, tight, lean budgets. Similar in library and airport, proposing balanced budgets there. The utility funds, as has been historical, we have intentionally budgeted for a surplus, and that is how we are building our reserves into those utility funds. So, all said, our combined budget, you can see at the bottom there, all major funds combined. We are just showing a slight surplus, and that again is accounted for within those utility funds. Now, this is the only slide with numbers, so before I move to the next slide, any questions on the numbers that we are showing here? Making this too easy. Okay, moving on, next steps. So again, I mentioned this before, the first draft of the preliminary budget will be brought forward at the July 20th meeting. That draft will include all of the departmental level detail, each department itemized budget, and we are hopeful to have some of our other funds incorporated as well. We'll continue to evaluate our expense priorities and refine the revenue forecasting for the major funds. The capital funds, the non-major funds, and our debt service funds, again, we are hopeful to have those draft budgets before the commission on July 20th. Prior to July 1st, we will continue to engage our current commission and provide all of those departmental details so that the current commission has an opportunity to not only review that information, but provide their feedback that we can incorporate as we move forward. And then, of course, with our new commission after July 1st, we will be excited to get them involved and reviewing all of our budget information with them to get their feedback that will help, again, prepare that first draft of the preliminary budget, again, for the July 20th presentation. So, again, I think we are far ahead in this process. This is the first time I can say that. Again, I recall in my time with the city that we are bringing really an estimated balanced budget within the first part of June here. So big kudos to our department leaders and staff that have really been focused and committed to responsible stewardship of the taxpayer money. Now with that, I would stand for any other questions.
Questions for Mr. Scott? We're making it easy on you
How'd
today.
he do in his time? It's 2.5 minutes.
That tells me that
We were gonna put a 2.5 minute time limit on him, but.
our time is, yeah. I forgot about the 2.5 minutes, I apologize. No, again, kudos to our team. This is, I take that as a compliment that there are no questions at this point because they have done their diligence and hard work. So, appreciate it.
Mr. Scott and I have been meeting on the budget for weeks, and I want to reiterate what he said with the responsible manner of which the department heads come back in. You know, obviously, there's equipment needs, there's personnel needs, and all of those types of things. And, you know, we set a goal that we would not use any reserves, and that was one of our goals. And a COLA amount that would be representative of what the CPI is. So those discussions were talked early on. They were placed in as placeholders. Obviously, the new commission will have oversight and review of that. But, you know, it's a continued process. But I can recall in years prior, at this point in time, we'd be $3, $4, $5, or $6 million, and we weren't at a balanced. So to reiterate what Mr. Scott has said about staff understanding that we're dealing with taxpayer dollars, they have been, in my opinion, they have been extremely responsible. And I give all the credit in the world to Mr. Scott for leading that group and have them to understanding of what, as elected officials, what we have to deal with when we're asking the public for those dollars. So we now have some real good budgetary process that the department heads go through and how they account for the requests that they're making. So, good job.
Thank you.
Anyone else? This is not an actionable item either. This is just for information. You have anything
Information
else for us, Mr. Scott?
Not on the budget, no.
Okay. Please continue with your city administrator's report then.
All right, well, the time I went over on that previous one, I'll make up right here, and I'll just like to remind everyone that July 1st is we're having an open house starting at 4 o'clock. That's where we're going to be able to recognize Mayor Dardis and Commissioners Olson and Anderson for their public service. And following that open house, we will convene one last meeting where Bernie will lead us through the pledge. And that is to have a swear-in session for our newly elected officials. That is our municipal judge, our new mayor, and new commissioners. So there will be nothing else on the agenda but to swear them in, but that will be our opportunity to let Bernie lead us through one more Pledge of Allegiance. And again, recognize the service of you for the past 8 years for you two, and 4 years for Robin. So we really look forward to that and hope that we get a strong turnout, and I'm going to leave you with that. Any other questions that I can answer?
Questions for Mr. Scott? Thank you.
Thank you.
All correspondence has been distributed and in your mailboxes, Commissioners. Does any commissioner have a non-agenda item they'd like to bring forward at this time? Commissioner Jorgensen.
I'd like to say it's been a privilege sitting up here with you gentlemen. You guys have done a really great job. You're going to leave the city in great hands. I appreciate all I've learned from you.
Thank you kindly.
Yep, thank you.
Any other thing, Commissioners, any other non-agenda items? Any department have any non-agenda items you'd like to bring forward? I'd remind the public, we can't take any action on a non-agenda item at this time, but if there's anybody that'd like to bring something forward from staff or commissioners, we want to hear that so we can react to it at a later date. Okay, I have just one more thing. I would like to introduce our mayor-elect. Eric Jerdevig is in the crowd this evening. Please stand up. The cameras will be on you, so the public gets to see what their new mayor looks like. And I'd also congratulate the two commission candidates that won the election. Patty Stedman is here this evening. Please stand up, Patty. We want everybody to know who you are. And Tyler Erickson as well. And I want to acknowledge also we have a candidate that did not get elected, Mr. David Withy. Thank you for being a part of the process. That's important to our city. And Marlon, I know I got your name wrong last time, but I saw a TV report where you were out going door to door, encouraging your fellow neighbors and citizens of the city of West Fargo to get out and vote on the June 9th primary. Congratulations on that effort. I think at that time during the interview, you'd been to 600 houses or something like that. So that's a yeoman's efforts to inform our public to get out the vote. So thank you, sir, for that. Anybody else? Anything else? Emma?
Just a reminder, Friday, July 3rd, the offices will be closed in observance for July 4th.
Very good. Thank you. Does anybody, Rachel's not here this evening, but what about the celebration at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds? With our commitment to participating in that, all West Fargo residents get in free that day. that correct?
Yes, Commissioner President, that's correct.
Which day is that?
July 4th,
July 4th?
yes, as well as city staff.
And city staff, because we have some staff that live out of the area, but all West Fargo residents are in free. Well, I'm going to call on these two guys over here. This is our last meeting together. Commissioner Anderson,
Move to adjourn.
Commissioner Olson,
Second.
we stand adjourned. Thank you all.